Hello and welcome back to another wonderful Thursday night here at Heroes and Hooligans, where we are playing Gilded Destinies, episode 22, Found Friends and Farewells. When we last left off, our party had just left the town meeting that had been called to announce the deputization of their very own Jillian Roca as mayor. As Mayor Brightfoot and his wife head off to the Zalargan capital of Trollenport to seek further medical aid for the poor Lady Brightfoot. In addition, we spent some time looking around the town, seeing the after effects of the damage, and seeing that the people here were very prepared to begin repairs. It took less than 24 hours for them to hop on it and start fixing up the tavern. Just before the day before, our party had an encounter with a number of mysterious assassins. Some of our party was able to identify them, and other members were left unaware. And of course, our dear friend Reznor chased a somewhat familiar scent off into the distance, finding a large group of gnolls, orcs, and other assorted monstrous, so to speak, races, as well as a small gaggle of shifters. We'll actually hop right back into the thick of things with Reznor. Reznor, it is the next day after your eventful yet quick battle with the first Fang, and you awaken fully rested in a little hall here at the keep. You see that this hall has been set aside for the use of Rorin and the shifters that follow her. And you got here last night, and pretty much immediately you all just decided to rest after your conversation with Rorin. And then you got your full night's sleep and are awakening with the rest of these shifters surrounding you. They all seem to be going about their business here in the room, but you know from your arrival last night that this is all of them who are present. And you see Rorin sitting on the edge of the bed next to the one you're sleeping in when you awaken. Sleep well?
As well as I could.
Good. We've got quite a bit to talk about today. Would you rather stay in here to talk, or would you rather walk around the keep with me?
We can walk.
All right. If anyone other than one of my pack here asks, you're a new recruit. And I mistakenly chased you down, thinking that you were a foe.
I'll just nod.
She leads you to the door, and you walk out to a very damaged keep here. You see that there are, again, shifters. The rest of the shifters follow you out and begin to move around. Many people here appear to be working on repairs to the building, fortifying it, and you see that there are a few carts leaving, filled with rubble and supplies, or rubble and debris to go dump somewhere. Go ahead and give me a perception check. And actually, if we can get above VTT up here, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, give me just a second and I will log in from my laptop and pop above VT.
No rush. We can continue running while you do that. So
That is
Resnor, you will be
14.
14? Hell yeah. So you are coming out of this little, you can see the wooden roof over the area of the keep that you've been in. I'll go ahead and throw you on our board here. And Roran is walking alongside you. Right here.
Gotcha.
Immediately upon your exit, you notice that there is a massive ogre off to your east in chains, who is he is not chained down, but he is covered and wrapped in chains, almost as if they're being worn like armor. So you see they actually hook into the skin and sink in a bit, so no blood comes out where they pierce. And you see this ogre is chewing through the rock of this front gate. You also see up on a raised platform ahead, there is an orcish archer, some odd-looking orcs over here who look almost sickly. And on a 14, you see that there is a pack of gnolls around here, as well as 2 to each side of the ogre. As you walk and talk with Roran, she says, "So, I've joined up with a group of people much like ours, maligned by the greater races of Corvair. And our goal is to make our mark in such a way that our people will no longer be denied their fair seat at the table." You know, with just the first claw, making diplomatic entreaties to the greater houses and kingdoms, we've not made much progress for ourselves. But with all of these forces alongside us, and she gestures at everyone, we will be more likely to be heard when we demand our seat. And I'm going to say, actually, on that 14, you get one last little thing. You see on the ogre's back, there is scarring that is in the pattern of a very familiar symbol to you. It is the symbol you saw on those gnolls that you first fought in the Skyway Market in Sharn.
So
I would appreciate your aid, but I would not. I don't want you associated with this necessarily. I really thought that with my leaving, you would take the lesson and step up to be a leader for our people. Not a claw, but a speaker.
I've never been one for words. You've known that.
You've never been one of many words, but when you choose to use them, they've never failed to have great effect on me.
So you talk about leaving your mark. How do you plan on doing that with these forces?
Well, establish a presence. If there is a presence of these as many would say, lesser races within each of the kingdoms, they will have no choice but to hear us out.
So if I were to help, what would you have me doing?
I think perhaps we'd start small, sending anyone you find who has been maligned unfairly towards us for aid would be a great beginning. After all, the larger our forces, the harder we are to ignore.
I'm gonna.
Feel free to let me know if you want to make an insight check at any time, by the way, as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to. He's very worried right now about this. So I would like to make an insight check.
Hell yeah.
That's a natural 20 for 22.
She has not lied to you, but she has certainly left a lot out. You notice that everything she's said assumes that things go according to plan. That the intimidation factor is enough to get them the seat at the table. And you have a very strong feeling based on your knowledge of Rorin from way back when, and your knowledge of the group that struck you, that violence is not a last resort for this group. You're not sure if... I'll also say on a nat 20, you don't think Rorin is the one who's driving this. Like, this isn't her project. This is someone else's project that she's agreed to go along with.
Gotcha. Do I remember, just because I was feral, how far away I am from Revan right now, or do I not really have any good idea?
I'm gonna say, with the check you made last time you played, you are to find your way back. You know that you're about an hour's travel at a steady pace on foot, at least up to 3 hours, maybe. And I forgot to mention this. You see a wyvern perched atop this tower here on that 14 as well. And it appears docile.
Is that the one that looks more grown than the ones we've seen?
Fully grown.
Gotcha. I'll So
give me another perception check, actually. We'll do it with disadvantage for last night as you were coming in.
perception at disadvantage, so 16 and 16.
Hell yeah. Looking around now, you notice that there is a group. There are 4 individuals you saw last night who are not here anymore. 2 orcs and 2 drow who appeared to be of some sort of rank.
Gotcha. So What happens if someone from the nearby town stumbles upon all of you before you're ready?
We have some holding cells that they will be kept in until it is safe to release them. They'll be treated fairly, but I can't promise it will be a pleasant experience. No one likes to be held against their will. But it is what must be done for the good of our people.
Those words are dangerous. We both know what can happen when people are doing what's good for their people.
We live in a dangerous world, Reznor. I'm going to say you've made it probably around to about here, walking and talking. You're walking at a very leisurely pace.
Yeah, gotcha.
And you see the archer up here gives Roran sort of a little half salute as she walks past, and she returns it. Is there any direction you want to try to steer your walk in?
I do want to kind of go past the sickly orcs. I kind of want to get a better look at them.
Hell yeah. You're headed in that direction already. Just give me either sleight of hand or persuasion to try to just steer the walk in that direction without her noticing. You can definitely just start walking that way and she'll follow, but this is more about trying to be a little slick about it.
You said sleight of hand. I'll go with that. 14.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and make an insight roll for Roran here. She's going, you're going to be able to head that way. Either way, this is just going to be about whether or not she picks up on what you're doing.
Gotcha.
And I'm not going to tell you the answer.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, you begin to head off past those sickly orcs.
So, as we're passing them, I'm actually going to point kind of towards the wyvern to get her to look that way. And I'm going to ask, so I've noticed some of those attacking a town nearby. Wouldn't be anything you're doing, is it? And I also want to look at the orcs if she turns.
She does turn to look at the wyvern. Oh, that's just a wild wyvern that we found and domesticated. We have nothing to do with any attacks on a town. It'd be a bit counterproductive to announce our presence this early.
I want to roll another insight check.
Cool. Go ahead. Let me know what you're trying to figure out about the orcs as well.
So 17 on insight. For the orcs, I want to see if there's anything defining that I can tell as to why they look sickly. Like if there's any kind of disease or anything that's
Okay.
Obvious.
Go ahead and give me a medicine check.
That's an 11.
They look a little fatigued. Their skin is kind of grayed out a little more than usual, but you're not sure what would cause that.
Gotcha.
You do see, I'm going to say you see under your armor that these orcs look a little more rotund than fighting orcs would normally look. But again, you're not sure of the cause. On that insight, however, this is the first bold-faced lie Roran has ever told you. You know that they were associated with that wyvern attack in some way. Whether they caused it intentionally or accidentally, that's up in the air. But she knows something about it, and you see a little bit of guilt behind her eyes as you just catch them as she's looking off to the wyvern. You catch her in profile. I'll let you know, you don't think she noticed you looking at her for that.
Gotcha. All right.
Sort of a she's lying, she doesn't know that you know situation.
Gotcha. All right. So you said you're going to make your mark more than just here, I would assume. Is there other forts already, or is this...
Well, this is an old fort that we've decided to repair. It's been abandoned for some time. Resnor, remind me, did you go to the mayor's office with Zenlin when you were first inquiring about property?
I believe so.
Give me a history check. I'm going to say at advantage, too. Because you saw a map.
14.
You know where you are. You got offered this place as a potential place to buy.
Huh. So, I do know from personal experience that the town nearby is still trying to sell this place. What are you going to do when a buyer comes here?
Revan's trying to sell this place. I didn't realize it was within their jurisdiction. I suppose I'll have to talk that over with the other leaders gathered here. What our plan would be for such an eventuality. We hadn't planned for it. Didn't know that it was still active property. I mean, look at the place. And you can see this is clearly a place that was not damaged in battle. It has just been left to rot for so long that it is falling apart.
Yes, just something that I think you should consider. Obviously, if you're trying to stay low.
Thank you. That's quite useful information for us, Resna. Already proving your worth, huh? And she claps you on the back.
I'll give a slight
perhaps
grin,
if you could... Perhaps another thing you could do is listen in around town and let us know if any developments come up that we should be aware of to help hide our presence. You do agree with the cause, do you not? Betterment of our people?
Of course. We always got to do what's good for our people.
Same as with that Silver Flame party all those years back, right? Any means necessary. Do you think Resnor is being honest in this moment? That he's on board with this plan?
No.
Cool. Give me a deception check.
21.
I'll give you the number you're trying to beat.
No.
Hell yeah. 21 beats double nat ones on an insight. And you see, like, for the first time since you've re-met her, Roran's smile breaks out, like full-faced grin. I don't know what I was worried about. I knew you'd be on board. Do you want me to make some introductions? Let everyone know that you're with us.
Well, they're going to have to meet me sooner or later, right?
Yeah. And as you walk past these sickly orcs, she points to all of them. This is the new guy, Reznor, old friend of mine. You'll see him in and out occasionally. He'll be passing information for us. And they just all sort of, all right. Good to meet you. And none of them, you notice, reach out to shake your hand or anything.
Oh,
They're just sort of
giving...
standing. They're just sort of standing here overlooking this little pond.
Reznor gives his big toothy grin as they walk off.
All right. You continue to make your way around the battlements here. And she leads you down this set of steps. They are mostly repaired, but it is uneven footing, so you have to kind of take your time getting down. But she leads you down here. And claps her hands together. Everyone, I'd like you to meet our new member. This is Reznor Greyback, a dear friend of mine, and our latest initiate. And you see the two gnolls here by the front gate turn to look at you, as well as the ogre. And I'm going to make another insight check here for the ogre. Hey, don't I know you?
Oh, it's the one from the bridge, isn't it?
This is in fact Grug the Poet.
Oh no.
He's a little more gray than that, like a lot more gray actually than the last time you saw him. He was green before, and you see that inside his mouth, his teeth seem to be slowly rotating in the jaw and these chains bite into his arms with no blood being drawn. Yeah, I know you. You're one of Johnny's friends.
Yes, I am. You're the amazing poet he told me about.
I don't do that anymore.
No.
Boss wasn't happy with it. And you see this gnoll down here, just to the south of him. She grabs one of the chains and tugs on it a little. All right, enough chit chat. Back to work, Grug. And you see a little drip of, I guess you'd call it ichor, black blood, forms where she tugged on the chain. He says, "Oh, all right. I'll see you later, Reznor." And he goes back to chewing through this gate.
We're definitely going to talk later, Grug. I always enjoy your poetry.
I'm not allowed to do it anymore. I'm sorry. Boss said.
I'll look at Ron.
You see,
like poetry.
What was that?
I said I'm gonna look at Roran and say you don't like poetry? ?
Well, I have nothing against it, but Grug doesn't work for me. We work together, but he's well, there's his boss now. And you see a gnoll holding his staff walk up here at you. Grog's right. We do know you. Tell that friend of yours I'd like my crystal back if you see them again. Good to see you've come to the right side, though.
I was gonna say at the crystal comment, Resnor's just gonna do his predatory smile and say the spoils of battle will just have to be won back.
Go ahead and give me an intimidation.
Dirty 20.
Hell yeah. Yes, spoils of battle, yes. You know how those spoils usually get returned. Covered in blood. And he licks his lips, walks up to you and puts a hand out. Goldak, it is a pleasure to be properly introduced.
I will say, at him threatening the violence, Resnor's going to, I would say, almost shift. Like, his grin's going to get a lot toothier when he takes his hand.
Yeah, we see your fangs kind of come to a little bit more of a point. You're not fully shifting, but you are showing the aspects of yourself that are always bestial.
I want to squeeze his hand as hard as I can.
Give me a strength check.
Strength?
Or athletics.
14.
It's a good squeeze. You see he matches it with the same amount of strength.
Okay.
I think I'll be able to work quite well with you. As he looks you up and down, almost like a piece of meat. And walks away. Back to his business. Dress! Uvler! You're slacking! Clear that timber now! Ozit! Why are you sitting on your ass by the fire? It's my break, boss. All right, it's your break. Looks like you've got about 5 minutes left. Hurry it up. And Roran continues to walk along with you. Not the biggest fan of him, but, necessary evils and all that. And you see she's heading. You see she's heading towards a second entrance in that covered area that you were in earlier. You noticed when you exited that the hall you were in was about half the size of this covered area. You think there's probably multiple rooms in it.
Gotcha.
Leads you in, and you see 4 people here. There are 2 orcs sitting on one side of a table and 2 drow sitting on another. It appears that only one of each is speaking. The others, to your eye, look like maybe bodyguards. You're not sure off the top of your head, but you could always make a check to try to learn more.
I would. What kind of check would you like?
Just another insight. You won't be rolling a lot of those for now. Well, you can make an investigation as well, I guess, if you wanted.
I made the insight. Only a 7.
Yeah, maybe bodyguards. Probably bodyguards. But you see they're in a... They're not talking about anything sensitive, but they seem to be in a fierce debate about allocation of resources in other countries. Specifically, resources in southern Breland that are coming from Droam.
From where? Sorry.
Droam. It's not officially a country. Technically, it is a subsect of Breland that has made a peace treaty with Greater Breland, but it is the country of monsters, essentially. Lots of trolls, lots of gnolls, lots of orcs, harpies, hags.
So they're talking at a table. Would they happen to have a map in front of them?
Yeah, they do. You see a map of Corvair spread out in front of them, and it's got about 20 little flags on it of differing colors.
Can I use my Wanderer feat to try and memorize that map and all the places of interest?
I'm going to say I'll allow you to use your Wanderer feat to give you advantage on an investigation check. Because Wanderer is more about, like, you know maps, but you also, the way Reznor has been using it so far is knowledge of places that he's been. He knows the paths he's traveled.
Yeah. It just said I had an excellent memory for maps. That's why I was like, maybe it'll help.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to give you advantage on an investigation with that.
Gotcha. Uh, 18.
18. You're not sure what all the different flags represent, but you do see that the one that is over the area, like over the spot you're in currently, is red. And you see that the majority of the others are blue. There's a few yellow and green scattered about. I'll let you memorize one color of flag.
I'm going to memorize.
So it's about 8 red, or no, about 6 red, 8 blue, and then 6 assorted, yellow and green.
I'm going to memorize the reds.
Cool. I will go ahead and I'll go ahead and send you a doc with all those marked towards the end of our session here.
Okay. I'll kind of lean over to Roran and like quietly like, what are they talking about?
Allocation of resources at other bases and points of interest. Making sure that our people are properly fed, properly cared for, all of that.
You guys really have a good system here, it looks like.
We do our best. You know, I did run the entire, collection of tribes for about 10 years. And Yorthuk here, she gestures at the orc, has managed his people throughout the mountains for far longer than I ever did ours. And you see that as she says his name, Yorthuk, the orc chief, looks up at her. Oh, Roran, didn't hear you come in. We were a bit preoccupied. Who's this? Reznor, dear friend of mine and a new informant of sorts, I suppose. I believe he's currently based out of Revan, and will be a better source of information than the one I already have planted. More easily able to communicate it, you know?
At that, I'm gonna. Oh, you already have someone there. Is it someone important? Is it someone that I should know about?
No one you need to know of. Compartmentalization of information and all. I'm sure you understand. If you don't know, you can't tell anyone else. If they try to force you, and
People
God
have tried
knows
things
these
before.
people aren't above God knows these people aren't above using force on ours. Rules of engagement only apply to those who are of nations, after all.
I'll just quietly nod to that. Hmm. He's gonna kind of turn back towards Grug, and he's gonna point to the
Grug,
symbol.
so you are currently indoors.
Oh, right.
Grug is outside. Let me go ahead and actually move you over here so that it's easier to see that and remember.
Gotcha. So, on the back of the ogre out there was a symbol. Do you know what it means?
Who are you asking? Or just the
Roaring.
room?
Roaring.
Roaring. I believe that it is the symbol of one of the groups in Droam. Haven't, inquired too deeply into their symbology and their culture and beliefs. I don't want to be rude.
I understand. So, how did you guys tame a wyvern?
And you see at this point the drow who is like showing her full face speaks up. That would be my doing, actually. Bit of the lady's magic, and you see her fingers crackle with black lightning for a second.
Oh. Never been too keen with magic.
No, there's only a very faint smell of it on you. I believe you would be capable of greater magics, but it seems that... and she actually stands up from the table and walks over to you and begins running a nail down your cheek, across your throat, and down your chest. Seems that all that potential's locked away. Would you like me to release it? Fair warning, results may vary.
Brethren will look down and give her his toothy grin and say, I'm perfectly capable of unleashing my own potential, thank you.
Have it your way. What brings you to us? Just aiding an old friend?
Well,
Or have you seen the wickedness of this world for what it is yourself?
well, I'm just here to help Roarin and those who can't help themselves.
As good a reason as any. Again, I'm going to ask, is that honest? Or is there something Reznor is trying to hide with that response, rather?
So half of it's true. He is trying to help people who can't help themselves, but helping Roarin's cause, no, he's not.
Okay, go ahead and give me another deception. I'm going to say with advantage because of the introduction from Roarin.
So Not bad. That's not good. 16.
Cool. I'm going to let you know she only adds a +5 to this, so you needed to roll a 10 or lower. That's a 10. For 15? Yep. Glad to have you. Let me know if you ever need help unleashing that potential. And she returns to the table and sits back down. Now, I do believe that if we took some of the resources you have in Sean and reallocated them, it would be quite easy for our people to take Zilspar with minimal losses. And that gives us access to many of the trade routes. If we can shut down trade through Breland, we'll have no choice but to give us our proper recognition. And you can actually go ahead and make an insight on anybody you want in this room if you want to try to catch motives, anything like that.
I want to insight on the drow.
Okay, on the one who's been speaking to you.
Mm-hmm.
You would know that Roran addressed her as emissary as well, by the way. Yeah, go ahead and give me that insight. This isn't opposed, it's just, scaling success.
8.
She's hard to read, Seems like she's here with the cause. You can extrapolate from that she's probably for the cause. Probably just looking for a better life for her people. I'll allow you to pick one other person in this room to make an insight check on to try to catch their motivations, whether it's Yurtash or one of the bodyguards.
I'm gonna go for Urtash, but I also.
Here, I'll go ahead and show his name here on the screen so that you can catch it too. I'll go ahead and put all of you here in this general area. Yeah, go ahead and give me that insight on your Tosh.
That is a natural 20 for 22.
This is a man who's definitely here for the betterment of his people. This is a true believer. And this is someone who I think you can see instantly lives by what Roran said to you earlier. Any means necessary for our people's betterment. And you can actually pick up a little bit on that from his allocation, the way he wants to allocate resources.
Gotcha.
He seems to be opting for a more defensive route. Build up our power until we have overwhelming force in all of our bases.
As the drow makes the comment about Zilspar and taking it, I would like to check Roran and see how she reacts to that.
Okay. I'm going to say, just first thing you see, Roran's kind of stone-faced at that. What is your passive insight?
My passive
12?
insight is 12. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you would need to make an active check. And I'm going to say with how much Reznor has been looking around trying to read everybody, this check will be made with disadvantage. Just because there's a lot of information here that you're trying to take in. Actually, you know what? No, I'll reward that nat 20. You can make this one flat.
Flat inside. That's a nat 1 for a 3.
Roran seems strongly against the idea of taking a town right now. You see that she's got the stone face, but you do see that her fangs do the same as yours did with your little mini discussion with Goldak earlier, where they stick out a little more, and she looks upset.
I'm gonna.
At least that's how you're reading that predatory response.
Gotcha. I'm gonna turn and start to leave the room, not hurriedly, but naturally.
No, you're just right by the door. You know,
Yeah.
You walked in, saw this table. It's not a big room. It's maybe what 15 by 30. So you're right by the door. You're able to turn around and walk out. Do you say anything as you leave?
No, I'm not gonna say anything until we're outside.
Cool. You walk out and Roran follows you.
And as I close the door, if there's a door, or once we're out
There
of
is.
earshot, I'm gonna say, so we're attacking towns, are we?
If that's what's needed, we'll do it with minimal bloodshed. But these are people who hunted us like dogs, Reznor. They don't deserve your pity. You're the one who taught me that. Even if it was unintentional.
And I seem to remember you telling me that's not the only way we could go about things.
It's not the only way, but that doesn't mean it isn't an option. It's not one I'm willing to take off the table.
I worry that while your intentions are true, that this entire thing is going to turn into no better than the ones that hunted us.
Give me a persuasion. And I'm going to tell you, you really don't want to fail this by 5 or more. You're looking for at least a 20.
Persuasion. 18.
All right, so that is not a success, but it's not a massive failure. We will never be like them. And you see she does shift here. We know the wounds of the past, and we will not forget them. Not until they have bled like we have.
So as she shifts, Rezor is not even gonna look at her. He's still staying staring straight ahead, and he'll say, "We might not become like them, but can you say the same for everybody you're working with?"
No, I cannot. Which is why I have to be here to temper them, to be a voice of reason. the same as I did for you all those years.
Zora look up and he'll kind of nod and say, "You always were the one that was good with the words." He'll start walking towards like an exit slowly.
Yeah. She says, I think it's best you get back. If you come to give information, come at night. If you see four torches lit, it's safe. If you see none, run. And we're going to cut to the rest of our party. Cola, Zenlin, and Jillian. When we last left you guys off, you were gathered together, having just seen the mayor out of the town hall on his way off to Trollenport.
Right. So, what's the plan for today? I mean, we've got to find Reznor, right?
Yeah, and we also, well, you don't necessarily, but I have some bodies to take care of.
Oh, yes, we were supposed to have a talk, weren't we?
We were. What a good time for a chat, my friend.
Shall we adjourn to the tower before we make our plans for the day?
Well, maybe let's walk and talk on the way toward.
On the
What?
way to...
Collect bodies.
Sure.
Because we have 3 of them to take care of.
Okay. Right, and these would be the assassins from last night that you work with?
Well, yes and no. That's a little more complicated. Let's wait till we're out of earshot of any of the townsfolk before we start talking about this.
I'll say, actually, you notice as you leave the mead hall that, most people, like, the meadery is not working today. People it's taking a day off to work on repairs to the town. And there is nobody around right now. People seem to have all headed into town proper.
Well, that's good. They can stay there. The farther we are away from them when we have this conversation, the better.
Yeah, you're already about a quarter of the way to Grandfather's, not too much further to the mayor's.
Yeah, and I think we would have probably grabbed that wheelbarrow once we dropped the mayor and his wife off.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so like as we walk and talk, I will have a telepathic conversation and then kind of like have like a plain, what a nice day, sad about the wyverns, glad the mayor's wife's going to get help kind of vocal talk so people don't just look at us weird while we're walking in silence or such. But
I don't think your feed lets us respond to you.
Oh, boo.
No,
if it doesn't, then no.
It does.
Well, let me look and see. I don't know if it does or not. Oh, it's under actions. There I go. Moving the fucking map. Maybe it's not even showing on here. Oh, maybe. Features and traits. Good job. Good job, hooligan.
Creatures cannot respond to you telepathically.
Okay, boo. So I guess we're not.
Zenlin has message, so Zenlin can, and by my understanding, Jill knows most of this.
Yeah, by your player understanding, yeah, you know that.
Well, I do think you told Zen last session that Jill knew some of what was going on already.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I'll just kind of tell. I don't want to tell Zen everything just out of safety for Zenlin, especially now that I know that there's active Gorodine agents around here. But I will tell you that they are associates of House Kundarak, I believe. And not that I know their motivations, but clearly they, want to see work done in this area. And they tried to take out the mayor and clearly my grandfather at the same time, which in turn has pissed me off 50 shades of anger and then some.
Cast message.
Cole, I'm actually going to ask for a deception check from you because you are hiding information from Zenlin. You do know what they're. You have with that nat 20 last time. You have a good idea of what their motivation was. Like you know what their motivation was, and they're not associates of House Kundarak. They work for you guys.
Well, yeah, I know that, but
I know that. I know you above the table know that. Zen, you don't have to oppose this, but you can.
Oh, I rolled a 13, but Zenlin had questions anyways. Like, so what are you doing with a cloak with their symbol on it then?
Well, my mother sent it to me, which is, I think, true. I think it did come from my mom.
Yes.
So I'd say my mom sent it to me. And
why
I
would you do
will
that?
give you the information that I was not expelled from House Kundarak. That was the front. I am still an active member of House Kundarak.
And House Iron Gut, how's that gonna go for you?
Well, I'm kind of like split down the middle right now because I didn't plan on any of this Iron Gut stuff happening when we got here.
I mean, as far as the public knows, you're only a member of one. As far as your grandfather knows, you're only a member of House Iron Gut.
Yeah, nobody knows
Clan Iron Gut. My bad.
Nobody knows that I'm still technically considered an active member of House Kundarak, but I'm definitely reconsidering those options because going after my family is a really big problem for me, especially my grandfather, because he is a sweet, kind old soul.
Last question. And to be clear, there's no judgment. I don't really care what you do for work or livelihood or whatever. But what does this mean for our joint business venture?
Which is why it's under somebody else's name as the parentage for the second company.
I was more meaning, was there any particular interest from your house in the initial joining of this venture? Are you here on business for your house?
Initially, yes, it was to investigate this new trading company. But I ended up making friends with you folks, and I'm very conflicted at this time.
All right.
And of course,
now you make it up.
Jillian knows all of these things as well.
About now, you do make it up to grandfather's house.
Yeah, so I'd like to go and see if that body is still there.
It is. It's still in his room.
Yeah, so I'll just drag it out and throw it in the fucking wheelbarrow. Fuck this guy.
Yep. Put him in the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Actually, I do believe you had a wagon that you were transporting her in. Do you want to use that instead?
Yeah, I think we swapped to a wagon at my grandfather's. I just remember the wheelbarrow from the mayor's.
Yeah. So yeah, you can throw her in the wagon and or throw him in the wagon. Sorry.
Yeah. So we'll grab the body and then I'll tell Zen that these are assassins, from the house, which is why he had that cloak in the first place.
Zen gives you the most whoa, no way. Most sarcastic face he possibly can when you say these are assassins from the house. All of that wasn't clarified last night and in the conversation.
Yeah, she'll just kind of sit back and look at you like, don't give me your shit. My brain is exploded right now. It's been a very eventful 2 days. But you can't say anything about any of this, and you have to keep it.
Oh, my people are quite adept at keeping secrets.
Well, good. Keep it in the deepest, darkest subcockles of your little drow heart.
All right. Are you guys continuing with the wagon over to the mayor's house?
Yeah, we need to collect the other 2 bodies.
I don't
Cool.
remember. Was Zen aware that Bor had contacted someone and said we should come back?
Oh, I forgot all
not
about
unless
that.
they shared that.
I forgot. Actually, that's a player. I forgot. I will give the note in the package. I would have given it to you earlier.
If you want to backdate that to
Okay.
last session, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because I picked it up towards the end of last session before the meeting, so I forgot all about it essentially.
Oh, yeah,
personally.
you've only had it for an hour and a half. That's right.
Then while we're walking from your grandpa's to the mayor's house, Zen will be like, well, if we have to go back, I have a way to get us there, but I don't know that I'd have a way to get us back, but I might have a way to get us back. It would just cost us 100 gold pieces round trip.
Well, I assume that we plan on spending quite a bit of time here in Revan, longer than we initially had planned, given that, we've bought the business and Jillian is now acting mayor of Revan. I wouldn't mind staying around a little longer. I'm sure Bor will understand when we go back and kind of explain everything that's going on. As long as the, work continues to get done and we're establishing an outpost, I don't think it should be too much of a issue for him.
I don't disagree. This note does mention double checking the contract and changes, though. That may be something we should do sooner rather than later. But all of it is after your body collection and finding Gresnor.
Yeah, I want to pick up these bodies because, well, I killed one of them and my grandfather obviously killed the other. So since the house has them acting agents here, eventually they're going to come looking for them and,
Well,
yeah.
If we were to go to Sean, couldn't you just take them back with you?
Yes, I just haven't quite figured out how I'm going to explain the fact that I murdered a house member.
Coca-Cola, your family's one of the great houses, correct?
Yes.
They wouldn't happen to have a teleportation circle, would they?
I believe so. In Sharn, yes.
Might not have to explain it to anyone other than your family, and I mean, they're your family. Surely they'd cover for you for these associates of theirs.
Well, my mother's loyalty is not to the family she made, but the family she works for. So I'm not necessarily sure she would cover for me.
I mean, is it you're returning assassin agent bodies so that their secrets can't be discovered by the house enemies? Surely that's a service to the house and not something negative on you.
Surely so, except for I landed the killing blow on one of them.
And how do they know that?
Well, I happen to have used my house provided weapon to do so, and they are very specific in the way that they look and cut.
Actually, I will say, you know that your house weapon only it just extends into basically a long sword or a short sword, doesn't it?
My dagger is the kind of like entry tier Goradin dagger.
Yeah, it extends out to a short sword at most and looks like a dagger to
Yeah.
begin with. It's not one of the unique ones like the person who attacked your grandfather had or like your mother has.
Yeah, I think she's just kind of worried about getting found out, because then they're going to ask why she did so. And I will tell
100%.
Zed and Jillian that he identified himself before I killed him.
I'll also remind you, he told you to keep your cover.
Yeah, he did do that. But therein does pose a problem of, are they going to send more agents to the area? Because House Kundarak is huge, and I don't know a quarter of them, let alone all of them.
So you said these assassins are people who work for your house. Are you sure that they only work for your house?
Absolutely.
So then you have to ask yourself, not only what does your house want the mayor dead for, but what do they want your grandfather dead for?
Well,
I mean, from an outsider looking in, it seems pretty obvious to me.
Yeah, I'm going to assume it's the exact same reason of probably you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, because it happened. The Wyvern attack happened the night
right after
of.
You were officially declared the heir.
Yep, and they used
still a member of House Kundarak.
Yes, which my grandfather doesn't know, so I'd like to keep it that way. But I believe it's because they would like to have the pull of the Iron Gut family in their pocket for the house. Because the Iron Gut clan is an old clan. It's been here for a very long time, and Iron Gut Meadery has also been along for a long time. And if they had like exclusive rights to such, they think, it's going to benefit the house in the long run, because, Kundarak's and their money.
I think that's half of it. I mean, that doesn't explain why they'd want the mayor dead, but with the mayor dead and you, the new leader of the Iron Gut family, you're a shoo-in for mayor.
Yep. I think that's their thought process, because the agents had been here. So I assume that they probably thought, if we can get rid of both of those power figures, then I would be a shoo-in for both. I would become the leader of the Iron Gut clan and also the mayor of Revan, which would extend the influence and the reach of House Kundarak in the first place, because they're up in the Moorlands, up in the north anyway.
So knowing all of that, it may be better for you to just lay your cards on the table. Based on that information, I'm not saying it's guaranteed and that you should go in there and threaten to kill someone or something, or say that you killed these guys. But based on what the connections we're making, they can't really afford to do anything to you.
I mean,
all of their plans hinge on you.
Yeah, pretty much. But it doesn't protect me forever. And it doesn't protect any of you.
That's fair. To be fair, I don't know what doing nothing does for us either, but we can certainly bide our time until we know more.
I don't say I want to do nothing. I had originally planned on giving a burial to one of the gentlemen that had perished in the collapse of the house at the mayor's. But after finding out who they are and what they were doing. Not that anybody knows that I know, but it puts me in a very interesting predicament because they're going to come and look for them once they hear nothing back. I mean, I know it's working as an assassin, it's part of the job, but if they have a job they want completed, it's going to get completed with or without me.
So what do you want to do with them?
Well, I mean, they are dwarves, and I know nobody has claim on at least one of the bodies, so I had just planned on committing them to the stone before realizing who they were. I refused to commit the one to the stone that hurt my grandfather.
If they were to come looking for them.
I'll also say you would know based on how the Goradine works that with the compartmentalization of missions, it's very unlikely that the assassins at the mayor's house knew about the mission for your grandfather.
Right. I also am still feeling the guilt of not checking on my grandfather first before going to the mayor's. I'm still feeling that guilt because I assumed that he was all right since the candle, and such. I'm probably just going to have a funeral pyre.
I was going to say, if, in my opinion, if you truly want to make sure that it can't come back to you, the best act would be to destroy them, which I'd be happy to help with if you want.
Yeah, we can, have a funeral pyre and just say that they were people that perished in the Wyvern attack, so nobody in the town asks questions. But
Jillian, sorry, is this conversation happening telepathically or out loud? This part of it.
I think we've been kind of talking out loud really now.
Yeah, we're out of town. We're between.
Jill, go ahead and give me a religion check.
Okay. Oh my goodness, I rolled a nat 1 on religion. All those years at Dragon Mark School, learning how to be a cleric, and I roll a nat 1 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that's rough. Nothing about this conversation really sticks out to you. Kokola, you also go ahead and make me a religion. This would normally be with disadvantage, but because it relates to dwarves, you can make it flat.
All right. Yeah, I'm very religious. Jesus is my homie and such, or whoever the gods are in this world. Definitely good at that.
This is specifically related to your new religion. You're looking for a 10.
I got an 8, friend.
Oof. All right. Well, yeah. Nothing sticks out to you guys about this.
So
Zen, if you want to attempt a religion with disadvantage, you can as well, actually.
I mean, I can just for funsies.
Sure. Yeah, I want to offer it to you because you are part of the conversation.
Nope, 3.
All right.
So when you say a funeral pyre, are you wanting like a formal thing where other people come? I figured we're in the middle of nowhere. We'd just burn them out here and call it a day.
Yeah, the thing is when we were when we were headed towards the mayor's the other night, we passed a group of folks that had been out at the house and had told us that there were some casualties and such. So these are people that have lived and worked in Revan, and they have friends and such at the meadery. Nobody knows who they are or what they were doing aside from us, as far as I know. So giving them a proper send-off would save face, especially since Jillian is now acting mayor, and if bodies just disappear, I think that wouldn't be probably proper.
That's fair.
Yeah, you know Oric, the one who was already dead when you got there, has worked for your grandfather since you were a baby.
Yeah.
Like he's been a constant presence in Revan
In Revan,
since you
yeah.
were tiny.
And he doesn't have any family. I also had another idea. Because we have our friend Jillian here, I had thought that maybe even though the bodies are already dead, that Jillian may be able to use some of her magic to sort of seal the wounds and such so they didn't look like stab wounds, and then we could commit them to the stone in a proper dwarven burial. So that way it doesn't look sus all the way around, because dwarves burning other dwarves kind of probably is going to look sus, but I know one has a tattoo I need to cut off of them. So if I'm able to cut it out and then Jillian can heal the skin there, you know, even though they're passed on, maybe her healing magic could at least seal up the wounds and such, then we could give them...
I will remind you the tattoos fade on death.
I didn't know if they did or didn't, because I thought we had talked about it slightly, but I wasn't sure if you had said they do fade.
We talked about it. You brought the idea up. I said, oh, that's sick. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, that's true now.
Okay, good. So the tattoo will fade, so I don't have to worry about cutting the tattoo out, but sealing up at least the stab wounds and such to make it look like a more natural passing would make more sense.
That's fair. It's up to you and Jillian.
I mean, the mayor's going to go to what's it called anyways and bring up the point of assassins, but if my name is not associated with such, then it has nothing to do with me.
And does the mayor know that you're not to be mentioned? You don't think he'll mention his heroes to the nobles and the royals when he mentions this assassination attempt?
Oh, that is fair. I think I forgot to tell him not to say anything about me. That's a very good point. Good job,
Well, you
Zenlin.
can play the neighbor card. He's your neighbor. You were just helping out a neighbor.
Well, yes, but the problem is if the mayor goes and tells everyone, all of the nobles, that Coca-Cola saved him in this assassination attempt and killed his would-be assassin, that means her family knows that she killed the assassins they hired to kill the mayor. And
That's
her cover
fair.
is, and they now know that she was involved.
Yes, but
Which
if the
was-
tattoo is faded, they have no way of knowing that he identified himself because he did so mind to mind, sort of how we were communicating earlier.
Well, that's
So that
true.
could-
I just mean at that point, healing the wound and worrying about your family identifying you as the killer seems moot because the mayor is almost certainly going to mention your name.
You know what? My brain has been a puddle of rocks, and I may or may not have forgotten to tell him not to mention me, but it's a little late for that. So I guess we just do a standard dwarven committal because I'm not trying to piss off any other dwarves and such, and nobody else knows that who the assassin was. They know of the one that tried to assassinate the mayor, but yeah, well, I guess we'll figure it out as it happens. There's no sense in trying to prevent a catastrophe that hasn't happened yet, because oftentimes doing such causes more catastrophe. So
I love it when my players speak parts of my philosophy unprompted.
I don't know that I entirely agree with that, but I can understand where you're coming from.
I just think if I start spinning webs that I'm going to get caught in my own. And
I'm going to be entirely honest with you, Coca-Cola. From the information I've learned today, you've been spinning webs since the day I met you. And
well,
again, that's not judgment. I almost respect it, in fact.
Almost.
Yes, but that is a different sort of web. It's the web for the house. If I start spinning webs against the house, I feel like I could get caught in that web of my own. Does that make sense?
It does. And I'm not going to further contribute to your spiraling that's happening, obviously, and your spinning and whatever's going on. But the fact that you already said that you don't know how to feel about the house because it would seem that they want your grandfather dead means you're also kind of already spinning webs against your house.
You guys arrived to the house at this point. Reznor, you just got back to town.
Okay. Yeah, so I know one body is out, but the other one I think is kind of buried in rubble, if I'm not mistaken.
You guys got it out before the other assassins started attacking again, I believe.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, they're both out. Yeah, well, I'll check and see if the tattoos are faded already.
And actually, the other assassin got it out. He was the one who was digging Oric out of the rubble.
Yeah, that's right. He did pull them out. I suppose as long as the tattoo is faded, that it is what it is, you know. Nobody knows that he identified himself to me, and clearly, you know, you can't typically see through clothing. So it wouldn't have been obvious that I knew he was a member of the house. So that sort of saves me some, but I am conflicted with House Kundarak right now because, you know, I was sent on this mission. Jillian and I are lifelong friends, but the rest of you have become my friends as well. And making moves to assassinate another family member of mine is really just not okay. I
It's
didn't
not
send.
okay. It is standard operating procedure.
Yeah, well, standard operating procedure doesn't have to be okay, right? Like, at some point, you know, oftentimes evil villains have people that work for them that realize that the things that they're doing are evil and they don't want to go along with it anymore. And that's kind of where Coca-Cola is sitting. Like, not to say Direct is evil, but
I don't disagree with that. I mean,
they are.
They are the JP Morgan.
I was gonna say they're the equivalent of a mega corporation in this capitalism.
Yeah. So it's like when when you're a corpo in Cyberpunk, and then, you know, all the things happen and then you're like, fuck the corporations, I don't want to work with these guys anymore. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now.
100%. Yeah. That's a very valid feeling for Coca-Cola to have.
Especially because they kept me out of the loop of all of it. And if it directly affects me, you would think somebody would say, hey, we're going to do this thing. But no. Well, they probably don't want to tell me that they
kind of fits with the whole information compartmentalization thing that the other group was talking about.
Yeah, that's fair, but also fuck them still. I didn't send the blood ruby, though I still possess it, and it still is crossing my mind very heavily, but
yeah,
I did realize that could essentially be the doom of the people I care about even more so.
Yeah, do you think Coca-Cola carries the ruby like in a pocket, or is it in her bag?
I think she actually probably put it in her belongings at the tower in one of her secret compartments that's in her like chest of tools.
Cool. Good to
which know. Is arcane locked.
Good to know. I'm assuming there's a password for that one. You don't have to tell me what it is. I'm just assuming, so that you can get into it without dispelling the lock.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So we'll pick up the bodies while we're here, and you know, so on and so forth.
All right. We'll go ahead and cut back to Rez just for a second. Rez, you get back into town. Where are you heading first? You can see that the town is currently being actively rebuilt by pretty much every citizen here.
Reznor?
You do not spot your friends anywhere. Except for Fetheric, who is working on the tavern. Actually, you also see the Iron Gut cousins are all working on the tavern as well.
How close is Fetheric to me?
You just came in from about where you left, by the market. Fetheric's like 2 buildings over.
Cut it out.
He's gonna walk up to Fetheric real quick and clap him on the shoulder and be like, Glad to see you're still standing, Frederick.
Glad to see you're back. We were worried some beast or wyvern got you out in the woods when we didn't see you at the town hall meeting this morning.
I just needed some time, you know. You wouldn't happen to have paper with you, would you?
Paper. And he begins to pat himself down. Oh, actually, I do. And he opens a belt pouch. Do you need a quill and ink?
I do.
There you are.
Thanks. I'll return these later, and he's gonna walk off.
Oh, all right. I'll see you later.
He's gonna head towards the living quarters for the other shifter.
Oh, yeah. You head up to the apartment of this mute shifter. You see, when you get there, that the door is shut and locked. You do not hear any sounds from inside. Actually, give me a perception check as you walk through town to see if you spot them as well.
Okay. Perception. 16.
16. Yeah, you actually spot them working on the granary by their house, making repairs to it as you walk up towards their apartment.
So he's gonna walk up. You want to use the paper for this, but he'll kind of walk by. He's not gonna approach her until like she sees him, and he's just gonna give a soft smile and a thumbs up, and then he's gonna head back to the tower.
When she spots you, no insight check required. There is immediate fear in her eyes, and she looks like she's getting ready to bolt again.
Resner's gonna not approach her. He's gonna walk away.
You give your smile, your little thumbs up. Give me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Don't know. Nice. 14.
14. She calms a little and gets back to work on the granary. She looks confused.
As he's walking, he's heading back towards the tower, but he's going to he's going to stop at some point and take the ink pen or the quill and the paper, and he's going to write a note that says, "Meet me on the roof after everyone goes to sleep." And he's going to fold it. And then when he gets back to the tower, he's going to slip it under Zenlin's pillow.
Hell yes. All right, we'll cut back to the rest of our group. You have gathered the bodies. Where are you heading? You see that they are undisturbed.
Are the tattoos faded?
Yes.
And now that
and you notice that neither of them is armed with a Goradine specific weapon.
I was just going to ask if when looking at their on-hand belongings, do they have
nothing identifiable?
Okay, good.
You go ahead and make me an intelligence with proficiency.
Okay. Is it my dwarven proficiency where it's the double or just the standard?
Just standard.
Okay.
There are non-dwarven members of the Goradine after all.
17.
17? These are deep cover agents. There's no way they would have anything identifying on them other than those tattoos.
Do they happen to live
which
in...
also tells you that the one who came after your grandfather was not a deep cover agent, especially
that was-
since your grandfather said he quit working for him about 30 years ago.
Yeah, okay. Would we happen to know from working with them at the meadery and such if they are living in the like apartment kind of place?
Yeah, you would definitely know that they live in one of the apartments owned by your clan.
I think not right now, but at some point within the next day or two, Coca-Cola would like to take a trip, depending on if we go back to Sharn or not, but to their apartment, if we can find it, and check their belongings at the house. I know Gouardine letters and such get burnt, but
It's worth looking. Maybe someone
Yeah.
broke operating procedure.
yeah, I'd like to do that.
In fact, I'm going to roll a little luck check behind the screen for you guys here. I'm not going to tell you the result, but I am going to tell you want a 15 or higher.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So you begin to head back into town with the bodies in the wagon? Or
Yeah,
are
I
you
would
heading
think
to
so.
grandfather's or...
Initially, I was gonna put the first guy that passed away at my grandfather's, but now, after finding out all of the information, I refuse to disrespect family land with people that tried to assassinate my grandpa. Like, my initial thought was to do so, but I think they'll just get I'm sure Revan has like a cemetery or such. They'll just get, dwarven rock piles at the cemetery. So that way, it looks at least somewhat proper.
Yeah.
Chip
Uh-huh.
would Jillian, because she worships the sovereign host, would she know about these ancient dwarven rituals? I mean, it's sovereign hosts. I
So
mean,
that
they're
was
vassals.
that was what I was having you roll about earlier. You definitely know the
Oh,
burial
okay.
rites for the sovereign host, and you know that a lot of dwarves do worship the sovereign host. In fact, the vast majority do. This sort of ancient stone religion that Coca-Cola has committed herself to it's fallen by the wayside. And there are also a large number of dwarves who are committed to the Silver Flame.
Yeah, well, we don't like those guys. Fuck those guys.
Hey, there's bad
Definitely.
people in every group.
Yeah. So,
Every group has their extremists.
Don't they?
so Jillian would have cleaned the bodies, I guess, cleaned them and prepared them for burial before putting them in the wagon and heading out.
Yeah. Do you say any prayers for them, Jillian?
She would.
Or are you just doing like the body prep?
The body prep, and I guess would she be able to? I don't know if on the assassins. I don't know if they would have anything that would show that they worship the sovereign host, so that she would know how to, like if they do prepare, if they are sovereign hosts, then she would definitely know how to prepare their bodies for their rebirth.
Yeah, go ahead and just give me a little investigation check to try to check and see if you can find anything that gives you a hint to their religious leanings.
Okay.
And I'll also let you know that the preparation of a body is pretty standard for most religions in Eberron. Keep them clean, try to, make them as presentable as possible.
Okay, she got a 23 on her religion check. Thank goodness.
Hell yeah. 23. You begin to, as you're cleaning the bodies, just look through these dwarves' belongings, and you do see that one of them is wearing a pendant with the octagram on it. Kivik, the one who Coca-Cola slew. Oric does not appear to have any religious affiliation, or at least any symbols thereof, on him.
Okay. She prepares him for rebirth, and the other one she cleans them, but doesn't prepare them for the sovereign host rituals.
Wonderful.
Jill, I think Coca-Cola doesn't care which religion that they were, because they're scumbags. But if you just want to prepare all of them via way of the sovereign host, so that, you know, that's fine with, you
Okay.
know, so that it looks proper. It's not necessarily about the respect to the bodies on Coca-Cola's part, more about the saving the face and the people of Revan, you know, seeing that we're being respectful. So if you wanted to go ahead and do it for all three of them, that would be fine.
Yeah. Jill, I actually want to ask you a question here. How do you feel about, how does Jillian feel about Coca-Cola's false respect to these people's beliefs?
I think that, well,
Like, obviously, it's understandable.
I mean, the odds
But-
are they probably do worship the sovereign host.
Yeah, the odds are in your favor for that.
Yeah. What Jillian does, I mean, she has a very open-minded about other religions and tries to be respectful of them, even though she does have some bad blood with the Silver Flame, just because of the corruption that's rampant in their political structure of their religious organization. But
Yeah. And I'll also say on that 23, actually, you know that one of the principles of the sovereign host is that you might not necessarily be accepted as a believer after death, but everyone is entitled to a proper burial. And, you know, the rights can be given even to non-believers. So there's no disrespect towards your beliefs that's coming from Coca-Cola. It's not even a disrespect. It's just a lack of care for theirs.
Jillian
And
would
not
just
necessarily, and not in general
yeah.
either, these specific people.
Yeah, she'll take care of the dead, because that's the task at hand, and people grieve in their own ways. And she also knows that Coca-Cola has a lot going on with, you know, she's probably stressing about what happened to her grandpa last night, the Wyvern attack, and her mom, and whatever's going on with her mom. So she's cutting her some slack, because she's got a lot on her plate right now.
Yeah. Would you like to ritual cast ceremony to perform funeral rites for any of these corpses? It costs
Yes.
25 gold pieces per cast.
Okay,
You
she'll
can
need some
take
help
that
because
out
she
of-
doesn't the party money, because she doesn't have 75 gold pieces.
Oh, actually, I forgot you have the third body with you. On that religion check, you don't find a symbol of the sovereign host on the assassin who attacked grandfather's house. You do find tattooed right on the outside of their right thigh a symbol of the Fury of the Dark Six.
Oh my. The Fury.
The goddess of bestial wrath,
Passion.
rage, passion, destruction.
She's not sure about the funeral rites for that guy, but
You also know that tonight is the second night of Wild Night, a festival of sorts dedicated to the rising power of the Fury. The second night is the most, how should we say this? It is the more potent magically and religiously of the two nights.
I just had a thought,
Mm-hmm.
and hear me out on this. Okay. There's a lot of questions to be asked about why they did what they did. Does Jillian have speak with dead?
Do not believe she does.
It
I
can be
don't
prepared,
think so.
though.
She could prepare it tomorrow.
Yeah, we're not burying
Actually,
these fucks.
I'll even you haven't actually done any casting today, and I'd say you knew this was coming. If you want to swap out one of your prepared spells for Speak with Dead, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But that will stick till the end of your next long rest.
Because my thought is not the two from the mayors, but the one from, because they were deep cover and had been here quite some time, but the one that was sent later, maybe we could get information out of its dead body. Maybe. I'll ask the party as a whole if you think that's something that would be smart for us to do, or if you think even in death they probably wouldn't offer any information.
My guess, I don't have a way to talk to them, but my guess is people like this probably are not going to be too keen to answer questions. If this is your line of work, the saying isn't usually take it to the grave, but take it beyond the grave.
Well, I'm not that kind of rogue, so it's not my line of work.
I'll say all of you know that Zone of Truth does work with Speak with Dead in order to force them to answer your questions truly.
That's fair. Do you think it's worth it to go through the extra steps, or do you think it's just me overthinking things?
I think logically there's a pretty obvious reason why he was sent after your grandfather, but I fully understand you wanting concrete evidence and information.
Jillian, what do you think? Because it would require your
Um,
magic to do so. So I don't want to ask you or put you in a position to do something that goes against your beliefs more than I already do on a regular basis.
Jill, you know, casting Speak with Dead doesn't break any of your religious tenets, and you know that you can cast it as a ritual. Wouldn't even burn any of your magical potency for the day.
Yeah. I'm willing to try this. I'm willing to do this.
Okay.
We can get some solid answers from them.
Yeah, even
Or
just the
whichever
one.
one.
I could understand wanting to take out the mayor in the first place, but my questions more are along the lines of, if my grandfather's as old as he is, has already named heir, why now? So on and so forth, and how long, and if they know if there's more coming. Because we could take them back to the tower. I had figured we'd take them back to the tower anyways, and we could take them down to the lower parts of the tower for when we do like the Speak with Dead and such, so that it's not anywhere in the public, and we're under our own protections.
Yeah, I'm going to say you make it back to town about now in your discussion. You
Okay.
can have a few more minutes to finish up anything you want to keep private if you want. But whenever you guys are ready, you may get back to town.
I mean, that's fair, Zen. If you think it's just over, my Huli brain over processes everything, right? Clearly, like we figured out, it's a very obvious reasoning there, but just to having solid, concrete evidence for Coca-Cola moving forward is
Right.
gonna.
Yeah. Like I said, I fully understand Coca-Cola wanting concrete evidence.
Do we have, because this guy, he did used to work for my grandfather and whatnot. My thought is, was it an anger that he did it and he was just a member of the Goradine, or if he was officially sent?
I don't know much about the Goradine. You would know more than me, and it sounds like you may not know that much either. But to me, it seems odd to me that someone in that line of work who has waited that long would suddenly boil over now, but it's not impossible.
Well, it was like, I feel like it was like this is the perfect opportunity sort of situation, right? Because it happened when the Wyvern attacked.
But he wasn't from here, right?
He quit his job, moved away.
Like 30 years ago.
Like 30 years ago.
He hasn't been here for 30 years. Why would now the opportunity would have only arisen by him being in Revan? And after 30 years, why now?
Well, here poses my second question is, why was he here on this particular night if the Wyvern attack was not planned by somebody else?
I gotta admit, I was wondering about that too.
Because at first I thought it was opportunistic, because it's like, okay, the Wyvern's attacked. We're going to exact this part of our mission out now. But how would the person who hasn't been here for 30 years know that the Wyverns had attacked and been able to be at the house in that point in time, especially because confirmation ceremonies for heirs are not spoken of publicly until it's the time to do it.
That's true. However,
correction. Ceremonies for heirs are not spoken of to them until it is time.
But if he hasn't been here, how would he have known? Unless it was announced at the meadery and the other guys communicated it.
Well, you had been walking around with that patch naming you heir for days. First of all.
True.
Your family knew about this, right?
My parents?
Yes, about you being named heir, etc.
Now that I think about this, when I received mail from my mother recently, she did know, but having deep cover agents of our house here would probably be how she knew. I hadn't communicated that to anybody.
Right. So, if they had deep cover agents here, you had been walking around with the patch, that word gets back to your family in town, and they know that your grandfather has named an heir and sent someone out, and it just so happened that a Wyvern attack occurred at the same time.
It just feels a little sus to me, pal.
I'll remind you, Huli, that Coca-Cola would know the Goradine are not just assassins.
Nope, they are not.
Spies.
Yes. Which is essentially Coca-Cola's role in the Goradine is more of a spy rather than assassin.
Yep.
I didn't tell Zenlin about the Goradine. I will say that part.
No, I'm just reminding you that you.
No, I'm just saying that way that we know. Like I mentioned they work for the house, but I did not bring up the Goradine. Only Jillian knows. Not because I don't trust Zenlin, but it's more of a safety for my other friends, because if they know things, that puts them even more in a point of danger than they already are.
Yeah.
God, shit's all fucked up, man. I don't like this. Everything was going so nice and smooth. This was like a business simulator campaign, and now you pulled the rug out, Chip. You pulled the damn rug out. I'm stressed.
Coca-Cola
Hey,
needs another breakfast
did you-
beer.
Yeah.
Cola needs
Well,
breakfast whiskey.
They're rebuilding the tavern. Might be someone giving out drinks there.
Speaking of
And
rebuilding,
this is when you get back to town.
we should reach out to the Rockboroughs and see if we can contract them to help rebuild the city. Maybe that would restore a little of their faith in Revan, since they kind of didn't like Mayor Brightfoot, and Jillian is now like acting mayor, It might restore their...
I do believe we mentioned that. That being said, how far along are the repairs coming, Chip? Now that it's, I assume, around midday.
As you get back into town, you actually can see that the tavern is probably about 70-80% patched up. And the granary isn't coming along too quick, but it's about a quarter of the way there. The big issue with the granary is that the stock was destroyed by the dripping venom of these wyverns.
Yeah, I mean, we can. I don't know by the time they organize and get out here how much work will be left for them. It seems like the town's doing it, but we can certainly, I agree that getting them in our favor would be good.
Well, we did say that we would offer them more contract to do any renovations and such for the tower, bringing them back into favor in the town, not only with the townspeople, but also like the town reaching out to them, even though it's not Mayor Brightfoot, might also.
Right. I just don't know how much this is going to give them by the time, like I said, it took us like 2 hours to get to their place. So they're probably not going to come in and do any work tonight, and then they got to come in tomorrow.
Well, we could send a raven or a messenger or such.
I mean, some wizards in this town. You could even send a sending, possibly.
Well, I think first things first, let's stash these bodies.
Agreed. To the tower?
Yeah. Well, we're coming by the tower coming from my grandfather's anyways, because it's right around the same kind of area. So we can just...
Yeah, if you want to drag the wagon off-road for just about like 10-15 minutes of walking, you can come up to the tower without passing through town at all.
Yeah, I think that's good.
If everyone could go ahead and check our behind-the-scenes chat quick, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, so you guys come up to the tower. And you see that there's nobody here working on it for you because you took next to no damage to the tower.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Good job, Zen. Good job. Yeah, so when we get back to the tower, we can go in or whatever. Somebody's got a key. Reznor has the other key. And then I think Zenlin still has the key Coca-Cola had.
Zenlin never had a key.
I thought I gave it to you.
Well, Coca-Cola gave it to you when you went to scout the tower out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I gave it to you when you went back.
Oh, right. That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to keep super close tracks of the track of the keys. Just if somebody goes off on their own with a key, make sure you know that.
Yeah, Reznor has the other key. I know that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when we get back, it'll be a pretty quick and simple thing. Coca-Cola will go up the stairs while everybody just kind of waits downstairs, do the blood thing, get it to open, and then I don't even give a fuck if we drop the bodies down the hole for all I care. When they come down there, however, you know what I mean? Like they're getting down there one way or the other.
Did you say that out loud?
I think she probably didn't because she knows Jillian just went through the work to like clean and prep them. At least 2 of them were cleaned and prepped, you know.
Yeah.
But the third
Reznor, you see, Reznor, you're in the tower and you hear the door open.
I
are we
was going to say,
finally
Reznor's.
reunited?
Did you guys lock it behind you when you left, by the way?
No.
Yeah, I thought we left it on. They left it unlocked for the defense reason.
For
Yeah.
security purposes. Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought so. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, no, we left it unlocked.
All right. Do you lock it when you enter?
Yes.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Cool. So you're all heading. Reznor, you hear your friends come in, and it's very clearly that they're a distinctively sounding group.
I was gonna say,
Reunited and it feels so good.
Reznor's sitting like close to, because there's a fireplace in the main area, right?
Yeah.
I was about to say he's sitting in a chair, basically staring at that, pretty deep in thought.
Okay. For our viewers, we're going to be running a little late today, going about another 40 minutes or so. If I have that time.
So we would then see Reznor when we walk in, right?
Yeah, you see Reznor when you walk in.
Oh.
He is sitting there in front of the fire, hands on his knees, a little hunched over, just staring at the flames.
Oh, welcome back. Guess that's one task off our to-do list then. You're good? Glad you made it back okay? No scrapes or poison from wyverns?
He'll kind of almost startled. No, yeah, it was just a long night.
I mean, agreed. Wyvern attacks tend to do that.
Yeah. Wyverns.
Oh, by the way, Reznor, you missed some things. Jillian's the mayor.
I am.
There were some assassination attempts last night. That's what the bodies are. They are the assassins. That's why we have them.
I'll just say in Zenlin's head while Zenlin's talking to Reznor, don't mention House Kundarak.
How was your trip into the woods? Anything exciting?
Well, I did stay at the fort last night. That was about the exciting part of it all.
You mean the fort they mentioned back at the property sales office thing?
Yeah, it's not in good shape. Pretty broke down.
Seems to be a trend with properties for sale in these parts.
Indeed it does. He's gonna get up and kind of change his mood. He's gonna go back to like almost a half smile and be like, "So, what's on the agenda?"
Hiding bodies, Reznor, is on the agenda. If you wouldn't mind helping me with those muscles of yours.
Of course. And Reznor will walk over and pick the bodies up.
Yeah, we're just going to carry them down to that kind of like first level. I'll grab a sheet or a blanket or something to put on the ground to put them on so they don't get all yucky and dirty again since we're taking them down.
Yeah.
Jillian, you cast ceremony
you're able
on
to get them down to the bottom of the.
Yes.
Okay.
She's gonna cast as a ritual.
Perfecto. Because I just thought about this. We're hiding them down here where these dwarven spirits are.
Yeah,
hopefully
you're
they're
able to get them down. Yeah, you're able to get them down there with no issue. They all, stay clean and undamaged with Reznor's help carrying them down. And you are in this first cavern below Cornerstone Tower.
So, do you want to just leave them here? I mean, we're gonna bury them tomorrow or something, right? So,
Yeah, leave them here for now is fine. It keeps them out of, out of our living space, but also puts them in a safe space since we want to speak to one of them.
I'll say, Jill, I
And-
did say you could swap Speak with Dead out for another one of your third level spells. Did you want to do that?
Speak with Dead. I think I did.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, you can ritual cast that now if you want.
Does Speak with Dead and Zone of Truth require concentration at the same time? Because I don't think we can Zone of
I
Truth.
don't believe Speak with Dead.
That
does.
is not concentration.
Okay.
Jillian
You-
does not have Zone of Truth prepared. I'll let you swap that out too as well if you want, since
Okay.
this was a planned encounter.
Okay.
I believe
Zenlin
that's a
does.
second level spell.
Yeah. Zenlin does also raise that. Just keep in mind that even with these spells combined, doesn't force them to answer.
No, it just forces the answer to be the truth if they decide to.
Speak with Dead does force an answer, I believe. They just are allowed to lie.
Yeah.
Oh, is
Three.
it?
It's 3 questions and 3 answers, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
5 questions.
5. Okay. 5 questions, 5 answers, and Zone of Truth forces it to be truthful.
Yep. The corpse cannot learn new information, doesn't comprehend anything that has happened since it died, and can't speculate about future events.
Okay.
It doesn't return the spirit to, it doesn't return the soul to the body. It just animates it so that information that's already in the brain can be gotten.
So I think I know 2 questions for certain that Kokola wants to ask. Who sent you and why? And so that's 2 out of 5.
I'm going to rule that since they're just an animating spirit and not a soul, they fail the save automatically against Zone of Truth.
Okay.
So you are guaranteed to get truthful answers. They can be cryptic, they can be, short, but they will be truthful.
Okay.
All right, both of them are cast.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. Are you doing Speak with Dead as a ritual to save the slot?
Oh yeah, I should have done it like that. I did spend the spell slot.
You can you can take it back.
Okay. I think that was a
You got
third
time
level
to
spell.
ritual cast. All right. I do believe Jill has to be the one posing the questions, but you can
That's fine.
feed them to her.
All right. What do you guys want me to ask them?
First question, who sent you?
Who sent you?
The matron. And to be clear, you're interrogating the one that tried to kill grandfather?
Yes.
Yep. The matron.
Does the matron have a name?
Yes.
Tell me who she is.
Go ahead and pose it as a question for me.
What is the name of the matron?
I am finding the name for Kokola's parents here. We didn't name your mom.
Yeah, we didn't.
What's your mom's name?
Oh, I think my mother's name is Karen.
Karen.
Yeah,
All
like
right.
kind of
we'll
spelled
go with
like carry-on.
We'll go Karain. That's a little more
Karain.
dwarvish, and I'll go ahead and send the spelling in chat.
Like Korrain, Karain.
I just put an I after E in Karen. We did have a pattern. So all of Coca-Cola's siblings are named after sodas. We didn't name her parents after them, but if we want to stick with that theme, I'm cool with it.
Oh no, it's all right. I want her to be named Karain here because fuck her, Karen.
Yeah.
Okay, Jillian, that's 3 questions. My next question is why?
All right, she will ask them, why did you do it?
Because I was ordered to. That's 4.
I think my last question would be, who else did she send?
Like, who else did she send to her to attack your grandfather?
Who else did she send to Revan? Besides Coca-Cola. Who else did she send to Revan besides Coca-Cola? I want to make sure to specifically word that.
All right, Jillian will word it exactly as Coca-Cola said.
No one.
Good. Okay, fuck this guy. Go back to being dead now.
Yep. You see the spirit leaves his body, and his body once again lets out a last gasp of breath as it collapses to the floor, dead once more.
Well, I think that changes my anger a little bit more to, I mean, I was angry at the house in general, but I think now Coca-Cola is like specifically ready to kill her mother.
Do you know that name?
I do know that name.
Oh.
Oh, and I'm sorry, he would have given the full name. It would have been Karin de Kundarak.
Yeah.
Out loud.
I hear your fingers furiously typing, Zen.
Nah, other messages. But I mean, if you know the name, who is it? He called her the matron.
Through very gritted, angry teeth, Coca-Cola just says, "My mother."
Well, if it makes you feel any better, my mother dismissed me when I was like 8 years old, so mothers suck.
Yes.
That's rough.
I maybe
buddy.
dismissed her.
I'll let you know that the Zone of Truth is still up for a while, and Speak with Dead is a ritual spell. There's 2 other bodies here if you want to do any more interrogation.
Do we want to ask the other bodies anything?
Do we need to? If we now know for certain that your family sent the assassins, including the one against your grandfather, we can assume the ones after the mayor were also sent by them. And I know we didn't say it, we said we assume, but I think the timing lines up.
Yeah, I think
it was all about you.
yeah. Well, I know the house previously. Where's the Zone of Truth, and can I step out of it?
Let me check the radius on Zone of Truth.
Kakola just starts climbing up the ladder halfway before talking to us.
Yeah, I refuse to answer any more questions without the presence of my lawyer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
First,
That's funny.
first, go
Jill
ahead,
is your
first
lawyer.
go ahead and just make the save, Coca-Cola. Just a charisma saving throw against Jill's spell save DC.
Charisma save.
And it is a 15-foot radius. So nowhere in this first cavern. You could go to like the very, very edge of the cavern and be good.
I got a 23 on the save.
Yeah, you beat that. It was a
Definitely
DC
passes
17.
Jill's charisma save. Jill, you know from the spell that Coca-Cola is not forced to be truthful here.
For what it's worth, Zenlin rolled an
Resnor and
18.
Zen, go ahead and make me yours too.
Zen got an 18.
Okay.
Just charisma save.
Zen's not affected. Yep.
I got a 5.
Lesnar, you are forced to be truthful while in this zone. You are not required to answer things, and you are aware that you will be forced to be honest if you speak.
Well, Zen, I think I know the one against my grandfather being sent from my mother makes sense because her and my grandfather never really got along anyway, but it would be like seating her section of the Kundarak family in another position of power in that way. But I don't know if these other house members are sent by her or not. So maybe it would be nice. We should talk to at least one of them because it would be nice to know if it was just my mother acting or if this is coming all the way down from the top.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Jill,
Jill,
if you're up for it, you can go ahead and cast Speak with Dead on another one of the corpses.
Yeah, I want to do it on if you don't mind. Not Orin, but the other one. It started with a K.
Killick. Or Kivik.
Kiddick.
Kivik. K-I-V-I-K.
K-I-V-I-K. Kivik. Kivik. That's the one.
Kivik and Oric are the two who attacked the mayor. And actually, anyone who wants to can go ahead and make me a investigation or insight. If you beat a 15, let me know.
17.
18.
Cool. These two are definitely closely related. Just looking at them. Same facial structure. Yeah, everyone seems to be making this. Yeah, they're related.
Okay.
The
Jillian.
third one you already questioned does not appear to be.
I will ask you to phrase this questioning a little differently to save us on our amount of questions. I would ask you to ask the first one, what is the legal name of the master who sent you?
Okay. All right. Jillian will ask him exactly how you said it.
I do not know.
I can't hear you, Chip.
I do not know.
Oh.
As unlife suffuses this body and it speaks in a rasping voice. It says, I do not know their name.
My next question will be, how long has the plot to assassinate the mayor been at hand or such, however you would say, you know?
Jillian will ask them.
Jillian, go ahead and make me a religion check at advantage. Or Actually, make it a disadvantage. I forgot. You did not pass the perception to notice the weird time shit.
Okay.
You got 15 at disadvantage.
15. Yeah, 15.
All right, 15. You ask this question, and it says 3, 5, 7, no, 9, 3, 5, 5 days, 9 days.
So it's fairly recent. Okay.
It does not speak a number over 9, does not speak a number under 3.
Okay. So it's fairly recent. So okay.
And mind you, this is from the time they died that they're positing it.
I would ask, are there more agents operating in Revan aside from Coca-Cola?
Jillian will ask them.
Yes.
What are their names is the next
I believe
question.
that's me. Oric.
Oric, and he's already dead, so that's good. And then we have one more. Does anybody else have anything they think is a good question? Zen, Rez?
You could ask them what prompted the plot on the mayor to begin 9 days ago to confirm what I already am almost certain of.
That's a good question. Good job. There you go, Jill. There's your last one.
All right, Jillian will ask him.
Many factors. Primarily the ascension of the Iron Gut heir and the mayor's business practices.
Ooh, business practices.
That's
And the spirit leaves the body.
that is new. So we do know they were probably interested before based on the business practices, and your ascension gave them the opportunity.
Which kind of does confirm for me that the mayor is doing things differently than how people realize.
Coca-Cola, I
Zenlin.
don't inherently disagree with you, but I want to point out that the people who did not like the mayor's business practices sent an assassin to kill your grandfather. So maybe the things they don't like may not be so bad.
Well, yes, he's not from a house, which that would make sense. But
An
We got one
independent
body- we got
family
one
gaining
body left.
prominence.
you said we have one body left? Is
Yeah.
that what you said? We know. Well, I knew
We
that.
still got a body
that's
left.
Oric.
Yeah, we could ask him if there's more questions. Maybe he knows something about the business practices that could give more information. But if I'm honest, I just think the greater house did not like someone else limiting their influence in the area who is not of another great house.
Well, House Iron Gut isn't a part of a great
like-
house.
But you're not just
Also-
an Iron Gut Coca-Cola.
That's
Iron
fair.
Gut isn't even technically a great clan.
No, not anymore. They're small now.
Well, even in your clan's history, you're not one of the main clans of the Marar Holds.
Right.
The Iron Guts were never established in that area.
Which would be why they didn't try to do it while your grandfather was in charge. But now that a Kundarak is the heir to the Iron Gut clan, it's not an Iron Gut that they're putting in power. It's a Kundarak as far as they're concerned.
Well, you make some valid points, Zenlin. Were you a politician before you came to the trading company?
Politics is just warfare without the bloodshed.
In the Game of Thrones, you live or you die.
My people have been at war for centuries, so yeah, all of these plans, flanks, how to bolster your strength. I may not like the way that things go up here, but it's not that different.
That's fair. Do you think it's worth asking this last body more questions while Jillian is still operating this magic?
I don't, as long as it doesn't cost us anything, I don't think there's anything hurt by it. Like I said, maybe before we wake it, figure out the 5 questions. Maybe, like
I
I
will
said,
let you
what's
guys
the
know I will let you guys know I did bend the length of Zone of Truth a little bit for you to let you get that second
Oh.
ritual cast in.
That is true.
So you would need to get a third up. I presume
so-
Jillian started to ritual cast, threw up the Zone of Truth, finished the ritual cast, and then did the second.
Okay.
Yes. Is that or done?
Coca-Cola told Zenlin that this guy recognized her and identified himself, right?
Yes.
The one you just questioned. Yes.
Oh, I thought we left that one for last. I thought the one we just questioned was the one killed by the house.
No, the
I
one
believe
killed
you
by the
questioned-
house is the one we haven't questioned. He was
Oh.
already dead.
Okay, so there's no reason the other guy would be truthful with you without the Zone of Truth.
I mean,
Right.
he still might recognize Coca-Cola. His partner knew who she was on site.
That's true. I mean,
He was already dead before Coca-Cola struck out at his partner. So that's new.
That's fair.
that
So
would be
what
information he
Zenlin is
doesn't know.
going to say is, even without the Zone of Truth, if your mother sent the one after your grandfather and these don't know who sent them, that makes you still a relatively prominent face to them, no? Perhaps they would
think-
trust you?
Yes, but there's no guarantee.
I'll also let you know that Speak with Dead specifically says if it recognizes you as an enemy or hostile, it is not compelled to truthfulness.
Okay, so they wouldn't recognize me as an enemy or hostile because they have no idea.
Right.
Yep.
So, and I
Yeah.
don't disagree with you. It's not a guarantee. They could still be dishonest, and lie to us, but they don't know that we already have bits of information. So I think that a healthy amount of lies from them would be able to be told by us.
Okay. So what kind of things do you think we should ask this final body?
I would ask what of the mayor's business practices made him a target. I think would be good to know. I would
Okay.
ask if they know of any backup plan should this attempt have failed. I doubt they will, but it's worth asking.
Okay.
Those are the only 2 really I can think of. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to know. And we do have to ask 3 questions, I think. Otherwise, the spirit is just kind of trapped here.
The 5, I think.
No, it dismisses at the end of the 10-minute duration.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, Jillian, whenever you're ready, we got at least those 2, and then the rest of the questions can come from the answers based on what they say. So whenever you're ready, Jill, wiggle your spirit fingers.
Yep, and I'll let you
Okay.
guys know that by the end of this cast, about 30 minutes will have passed with you down in the basement, so to speak.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Jillian will cast it, and then she will. How do we want to phrase that first question?
What of the mayor's practices made him a target?
All right. Jillian will ask him what of the mayor's practices made him a target.
The mayor refused loans from House Kunderak. Very enticing loans.
Where the second question is, are there backup plans should the first assassination attempt fail, I believe.
All right. Jillian will ask him, if there's a backup plan, if the first assassination attempt fails.
Standard procedure is to send a cleaner.
Okay.
Cola, you know a cleaner is like next rank up over foot soldier. It's someone who cleans up the messes left behind.
Okay.
You also, you know, your mother worked as a cleaner for a long time before she got promoted
Yeah.
into administrative work.
Okay. So we've got 3 questions left. I'll also want to ask him if there are any other House Kundarak agents acting in the area aside from Kokola and we'll say Kivik.
All right. I'm just going to assume Jill asks that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. No.
Okay. Okay. Trying to think. Yeah, it's radio silence for them. That's correct. Which was what one of my concerns was going to be anyways. They're going to send somebody else. Okay, maybe this guy knows. Who sent him here and how long? I guess could be the last 2 questions from him as well. Oh, no. I would ask, where is your apartment? Like, what is your apartment address?
He gives you his address. It's just one of the basically workers' buildings that are rented out by your family.
And there's one left. I guess we can find out if this guy knows who sent them, because we don't know who the acting head of their agents were. If anybody else doesn't have any other ideas.
No ideas
No
from
other idea?
Reservoir.
No other
Yeah,
ideas?
so- yeah, I guess we'll ask who sent you.
The Sting.
The Sting. Ooh. Okay. Okay, that's our 5.
You don't know who the Sting is, but you've heard them referenced before by title. Kind of a not elite assassin, not like top tier, boss, but like mid-level management.
Okay.
Mid-level management who gets their hands dirty.
Okay. All right. So that's our 5.
Yep. The spirit disanimates, and you are left with 3 corpses laying on the ground.
Cool. Fuck them corpses.
You say that out loud?
Oh,
I'm looking forward to Jillian's catchphrase becoming, do you say that out loud?
yeah. No, I don't think she does say that out loud.
No, I mean, it was in response to a thing the big voice in the sky said anyways. So I don't think she would have.
So here's a question. How much gold do we have in the party funds, Coca-Cola?
Let me look here.
And if you need to convert platinum, that's okay.
A lot.
How much platinum do you have? I can do that.
100 platinum.
All right, so you have 1,000 gold.
Okay, that's way more than I thought we currently had.
Yeah, about 100.
You have a good chunk of change.
Yeah, we have 100 platinum and 320 gold pieces.
So
You also
perhaps
still
with-
haven't. I also don't think you've opened your first month's pay yet, have you?
No, that's in the package from Boar. We just opened the letter. We didn't open the package yet.
So I have two ideas here because I assume it's probably what, like 12:31.
Yeah, it's like noon 30.
Okay. We have the rest of today. If
Mhm.
my plan works out and we get someone, we could go talk to Boar and be back before nightfall tonight.
Okay.
And then be here to bury the bodies and do what we need to tomorrow. And then Boar is off our checklist.
Okay.
I have two thoughts. The first is that obviously with the situation currently and with your mother apparently being involved, perhaps using your family's circle may not be a good option. I don't know if maybe Jill or you know of another one in Sean.
Zen, I thought we talked. Don't you know one in Sharn that's just like the public one?
Um,
Or did
I
you pick
have
the one-
Sharn TBD. I don't think we had decided on it.
I think I gave you the choice between one back home and one in Sharn, and I don't think you decided.
Well, no, you gave me two, and one of them was back home, and the other we said would probably be Sharn. But
Oh
I
yeah, and it
didn't-
was like it was TBD where it was, whether
yeah,
Cole
because
and you-
Zenlin and Reznor Wright had just gotten to Sharn when the campaign started. Zen didn't really have time to go around and
there is a teleportation circle at the docks of Sharn. You would have had time to grab the coordinates for if you wanted.
okay.
Okay.
So I could otherwise do the docs, but I was thinking, assuming that he was telling the truth and that it was radio silence, if you believe that you could keep your composure, going through your family, telling them that you have business and using that as an excuse to stay behind and give them an update would shift the blame away from you because you're giving them the up-to-date information of what happened. But if you don't want to do that, I understand.
Well, my mother sort of has this natural zone of truth thing about her. She always kind of knows when I'm giving her the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, honestly, if, and this is without zone of truth, Coca-Cola 100% being honest, I don't know if I can maintain my composure in the presence of my mother at this time.
Then it's better not to risk it. So
I mean, I
then-
can do a drop off of information to her because I have letters I need to respond to anyways. So I can do that. But
You
Oh,
need-
you
you
could
definitely
prepare
need-
a letter and leave it behind as we leave. Just kind of slip it by slyly and say that we have other business. So you figured it'd be okay if we used the circle.
And you
Yeah.
definitely would know, like, actually, I'm going to tell you, Cola, you would know that using the family circle, your mother would have to put on a show of you aren't supposed to be here.
yeah,
Oh, that's fair.
because if you remember the front is that she sent me off to be out on my own.
That's true.
You
That
know,
she
she kicked me
kicked you
out.
out.
That's
Yeah.
true. So then we can use the docs, I guess, if you guys are cool and if you're okay using 100 gold from what we've got.
That's fine. I mean, we have
50
to go to
get there.
You know,
Yeah,
it'd be like about 105 because of the dock fees.
because of there would be a slight tax, but yeah. So
Yeah,
we could
so-
do that. The only thing before we go, I would rather make this trip alone at this time.
to
Double check that I have a way to get us back here.
oh, that's okay. If you have business you need to attend to, we all have our secrets.
Give me 40 minutes, right? It's just across the river, isn't it? It's like right.
Yeah,
near the
you got
tower.
it's like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, give me 40 minutes and I should be back and know if we're good to go or not.
Cool. We'll go ahead and run that scene, and that'll probably be our last scene for the night.
So yeah, I'm gonna go to a Leathery shop.
Cool. Borrowing keeping your key to lock the door behind you.
They're there. If they want to lock behind me, they can.
Okay. Is everyone else heading back up into the tower proper? You staying down here? What's the plan?
I think we probably, well, I know Cocola's going back up into the tower proper, and she's kind of like thinking, where's a safe place for her grandfather to go or stay while they make the trip into Sharn, because, you know, somebody was sent by my mother to assassinate him. If she knows we're not here, then there's no way to protect him even more.
Yeah. Where did you send your grandfather when you all split up after the town hall?
I don't think we sent him anywhere. I think he went off into the city to go help do things, I think.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to check in with you because if you didn't send him anywhere, that was what he would do.
Yeah, I think that's what he was going to do.
Just wanted to make sure you had the opportunity if you wanted it. Since I forgot to ask last session. Cool. Yeah, Zen, you leave the tower and make your way over to your teacher's house. Or house/bookshop/
Magic lab /
magic lab. Yeah. So on and such forth.
Yeah. And I mean, it's daylight, so I'd assume it's open and just walk in like a normal customer.
Yeah, door is unlocked. And when you open it, you actually see that the other proprietor of the bookshop is standing at the front desk. Oh, Zenlin.
Yes, hey, I was hoping I could speak with the Lethri about something a bit unique.
Yes, let me. Lethri, darling, can you come here? Zenlin wants to speak to you. As this dwarven woman calls over her shoulder to her partner. Lethri comes up to the front. Zenlin, dear, I'm so glad to see you're well after the events of last night.
Yes, we knew coming in. It was part of why we came here. We were hoping to make some money and deal with some wyverns. I had, I guess, a favor to ask. Me and my friends have some business we have to attend to quickly in Sharn, and I can get us there, but I need a way back, and this is very forward of me, and this may be a bit too forward, but I thought I saw a magic circle the other night.
Yes, you did. I have a binding circle in the lab. I don't know how that would help with your transportation.
Oh, I didn't look that closely. I was obviously a bit distracted with our work. I was hoping that it was a teleportation circle, or that you might have one or know of one.
Teleportation circles in the area. I don't know. Darling, do you know of any teleportation circles in the area? There's a couple. There's one. I think there's one up at the old keep to the north. I've got one of my, and she begins to shuffle through books. One of my books had the coordinates in it, actually. Here you are. And she hands you a book that has the coordinates for the teleportation circle to the north.
And Zenlin remembers this keep as being abandoned, right?
Yep. Reznor just told you it's abandoned and dilapidated, and that he crashed there last night.
Great.
And he had no problems.
This is wonderful. You guys have been a huge help. And tomorrow night, right? You said 2 nights?
Yes, every 2 nights.
Can't wait. Thank you
if
guys.
You can, just a little errand. If you could bring some fresh spring water, some fresh spring or river water with you, I'd appreciate it. It does need to be pure.
Sure.
Just a material component we'll need for the next lesson.
Definitely. I will see what I can do.
I'll give you a little sneak peek. We're going to work on minor water elementals this time.
Oh, exciting. I can't wait.
There was one other. That tower you bought used to have one. I don't know if it still functions.
Do you know where in the tower it was? Or do you have the coordinates for it?
Let me go check my books. Which book was it, darling? It was the Rise and Fall of the Gallifreyan Kingdom, right? That mentioned it. All right. Oh, here it is. Oh, actually, this is quite intriguing. The tower itself is built as both a binding circle and a teleportation circle. It might be in need of some repairs with the damages, but the magic itself might be. But I would expect that a few castings could fix it. You could, with a few castings, you could fix it yourself.
That would be good to know. That will certainly save me time. That was something I was planning to do anyways, but if it's already there, that does save me quite a bit of time and gold.
Yes, I'd be happy to. It sounds like your trip is a bit urgent. I'd be happy to go over and just take a look for you as a favor, see what would need to be done to fix it.
That would be amazing, and I don't suppose, this may be asking a lot, I don't suppose you'd have any way to let me know while we're gone.
I have sending.
That would be amazing. I mean, if you get there and check and find out that it's, I don't know, slightly functional for return trips or something, we could go there. Otherwise, we've got the backup thanks to you.
Yes, I'll need a key so I can get in and check things out.
You definitely need a key. That is definitely for certain. And Zenlin will hand over his key.
All right.
Because it's better than them walking in or trying to get in while it's locked.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
It seems like you're in a bit of a rush, so you have the coordinates for the one to the north, and if I can get this one repaired in a day's time, one casting of teleportation circle is not going to take that much out of me, So
you don't have to do that. I know it costs gold and stuff.
I would expect repayment for material components, of course, but that's all. Just give me back the cost of the components, and we're good. You've given me a student for the first time in 150 years. It's quite nice to have. Better than any gold you could pay me.
I grow more and more grateful that I made your acquaintance every time we meet. And he'll turn and leave awkwardly because Zenlin is kind of awkward.
No, don't leave on that. That's so touching. You can't just walk away after. Thank you.
No.
I
Thank you.
appreciate your presence in my life, Zenlin. And you see her wife speaks up. I appreciate your presence in her life too. She's been a lot less dreary the past couple of days.
Resdor's message isn't that far off. I think Zenlin definitely pauses for a second, like on the threshold. He doesn't turn around or say anything else. He just leaves.
All right. And that's where we're going to close this session. I've had a great time with you guys tonight. Had a great time with our audience as well. Some really on-point comments from you guys. Not going to say which ones. Some really on-point comments from you guys tonight. Not going to say which ones.
Definitely that last one. That one's definitely a Lethery's master plan.
No comment? But no, I've had a great time. This has been episode 22 of Gilded Destinies. Thanks for joining us. Do any of our players have anything they want to plug?
Monday night, Grim Hollow, our Delirium campaign, 7:30 Central Time, back with more shenanigans. We introduced a new party member this week, and they're kind of got some things to figure out over there too. So this night isn't the only night where players are like, what the F is happening? So come hang out with us on Monday. And aside from that, I think that's all I got, Chip.
All right. Don, Shen, not Duke. I'm going to remember it one of these days. I'm going to. I swear to God. Yeah, Don, Shen, Resnor, anything from you guys?
Nope.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Well, then I will see you guys. Oh, and I actually have something to plug for once. Come catch me, not tomorrow, but next Friday over on the Streaming Rainbow channel where we will be playing a Dune one-shot. We'll be having a great
Ooh.
time there.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
All right. Catch you next week. Bye-bye.